Hey guys, welcome back to Boldly Thriving with your host, me. This is episode 2 as we dive into realizing who you are and remembering how fucking powerful you truly are despite of whatever you're going through in life and what you've been through. But before we dive into episode 2, I really just want to shed some light on episode 1. Please feel free to comment, like, share, subscribe to my Spotify channel, and also make sure to follow Boldly Thriving on Instagram. So let's just dive into it. I am really familiar with this subject because I actually think I've been going through this a lot, and I always forget to realize how powerful I am, especially when you're in these situations that drain you and make you feel less, and you really don't realize who you are in them sometimes because you're so blinded by everything that's been going on in your life. And sometimes you really just need that push, and you really just need someone to tell you, hey, you are fucking powerful. You are amazing. You're going to get through this. Screw what everyone thinks. You are it. And right now you may not feel that way, but you are in the end. And here are just some points that I really want to talk about today. So I have 7 key points that I wrote down in remembering who you are and realizing who you are, and remembering how powerful you truly are. So number 1, your identity is not lost. It's just forgotten. Right now, when you're going through something, and if you are going through something right now, you're not someone new. You're not becoming someone new. You're reconnecting with your original self. Despite the fears that you have, your power doesn't come from status, people pleasing, performing, impressing. It doesn't come from your wealth. It doesn't come from how much money you have, what you have. It comes from being authentic, being true to yourself. And that's number 1 thing I think I really lacked when I was going through stuff from a personal situation. I was actually dating this guy recently. And let me tell you, this guy did a goddamn number on me, okay? So he really did a number on me. And honestly, being 20 years old, I've learned a lot through my relationships, my situationships. Every time I go through one, the main goal to come out of this is to not repeat what I did. Focus on things that were good. Focus on things that I know I will never tolerate. Look for red flags better. And I feel like this was one of them. But I feel like I was so wrapped in this person that I was really losing who I was. I didn't feel powerful at all. At the end leaving this. And honestly, this was recent. This was the past 6 months I was dealing with this person. And he was actually a person that I knew from middle school. And, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I guess I've known him for so long. So I didn't think he would have been this shitty. But unfortunately he was. And at the end, I realized how drained I was. And I look back and there was just little things that I was just like, how did you not see that? How did you forget who you were in this situation? How did you just totally throw out all of your beliefs, your goals, your morals, your values for this person? I remember one time I literally went on a date with this guy. And he was telling me, I already knew he kind of didn't want something, and I really knew he didn't want to commit. But you know me, I just, wanted to see and figure it out. And I was always one of these girls, and I feel like sometimes I'm still one of these girls. I like to save people. I'm a saver. I like to heal people. I always think maybe I'm going to be the one that changes them. Maybe they can see. And I really thought because of this person, because I've known him for so long, that I was giving the benefit of the doubt. I was like, no, this person is not going to treat me this way. Like, we've known each other for so long. Like, he could never do that to me. And I was totally wrong. People are people, and when they show you who they really are, you need to believe them. So let me get back into this. I went on a date with this guy, and in the beginning it was actually really good. We were having so much fun. It was really cool to connect after so many years, and I actually had a crush on him in middle school, so that's why it was so fun to reconnect as well. And like I said, in the beginning it was really good. It was going well, and then we kind of got into the conversation of like what we are, where is this going? And I remember him telling me I really want to go with the flow. I'm just like not in the position to commit right now. First of all, that was red flag. And I also was in the moment thinking the same because, I was waiting for my real estate career to pop off. I was really just in this weird time. So I didn't have time to focus on a guy. I didn't have time to be distracted. So I was like, okay, this can just be for fun. And I can focus on my other stuff. Obviously, it didn't really work out like that. I developed feelings. And I remember one time he literally was telling me, we can just go with the flow. I really don't want, to put a title on this. But the craziest thing is that he didn't want to put a title on this, but he wanted everything that came with the relationship, from me. And that, first of all, was red flag. I should have known that was never going to work out. How do you not want to commit to me, but you want everything from me like a relationship would ask for? It's like basically you're telling me that you want me, but you also want other people and you want to have your cake and eat it too. And I remember agreeing to this, and I remember, agreeing to this. And as time went by, I was completely losing myself. I knew this is what I didn't want, but I think I was just trying to people please him because I knew I really liked him and I was really into him. And I didn't want it to end because we were literally having so much fun when we were together. Like the connection was there, but no amount of connection that's there should allow you to be fooled by this person. You know what I mean? Knowing that's not what you want. You shouldn't lower your standards because this person, to keep the connection going, to keep it, going in the direction that you want. And then also what I did, what I thought in my head, I thought, okay, if I keep this going and I give him what he wants, to keep just going with the flow, eventually he's going to come around to commit to me. No, that is not going to happen. I realized that never, ever happens. As more time goes on, the only person that was getting hurt was really me. So to be powerful, you need to be authentic. You need to stand in what you know. You need to not, lower your morals, your values. You need to go into this, this is what I want. And if that's not what the other person wants, then this person is not meant for you. And I really had to understand that. That was such a wake-up call because in the end, I was the only one getting hurt by all of this. And I feel like this guy was just like la 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 lying all over the world and like the city and didn't really care. And he wasn't affected by it at all because he knew going into this what he wanted. And he said it from the beginning. And that's why he never felt bad because he's like, this is what I told you. So that was one thing I had to learn the hard way. And it was just really hard for me in the beginning because I was really hurt. So let's go to number 2, inner power versus external validation. Like I said, real power isn't about titles, money, status. It's about self-trust, resilience, alignment. It's about really aligning your goals, your values, your morals, your decisions with what you truly believe in, not what you think someone would like you for or pick you for. In this moment with this guy, I was realizing that I was becoming a pick-me girl. No, seriously, I was really becoming a pick-me girl. It's like I was doing things and positioning myself in ways that he would be like, okay, like now, I like her. Now I'm going to pick her. And it was never working. I remember one time, I swear, one time I went out with my friends and he lives in a certain part of the city that I literally go out with my friends. It's a really popular spot that everyone goes out to, bars, restaurants, and all that stuff. And I remember going out with my friends, positioning myself, and I remember that they were leaving, and I ended up finishing my drink there because I go out by myself all the time, so it's not weird for me to go to a bar by myself and just enjoy my own company. But I remember that I would literally wait, give it a few minutes. Even though I knew I was ready to go home, I was literally wait while we were texting to see if he would be like, okay, like, what are you doing? And I would blatantly tell him, I'm in your area. Like, I just finished with my girls. I don't know what I'm going to do. I would like drop hints like that. And let me tell you, this guy was not picking up those hints at all. Like, either he was picking them up or he just really didn't care. And it was the fact that I was putting myself out there, draining my energy, chasing something that was never going to chase me back. Like, I look back and I was like, why did I do that? Why didn't I just leave with my friends? And that was one thing I had, again, to learn the hard way. It wasn't about, it wasn't necessarily about this guy, and because he wasn't doing anything to me. Like, we never had any plans to hang out that day. It was me. It was for me to self-validate myself. And I thought maybe me hanging out with this guy would like self-validate, myself, but it wasn't doing that at all. And I think I just wanted to hang out with him so bad that I was doing that on purpose so he can notice it. And it was like the fact that you have to position yourself in that way for a guy should never be a thing. A guy should want to court you, want to hang out with you, want to see what you're doing, who you're doing it with, be interested in what is happening later, wanting to hang out with you. And if you can't hang out that night, he's texting you, making plans for the next day or the next week or whatever, because I know people are busy. They can't hang out all the time, but he's making himself available for you, and he's going to show you that. And I think that's why I was so like chasing him, because he never made himself available. I think I was always the one that had to text first and hang out with him first and make plans with him first. And in the beginning, it wasn't like that. I'm telling you, in the beginning, I don't know what switched, but I really think that these guys, they notice when the power is switching, and they notice when things are shifting. They know when they have the upper hand. And I'm telling you, I kid you not, I really felt like I had no power in this. But what I wish someone would have told me is that I had all the fucking power. I was the prize. And I really never felt like I was. Not only was this guy not making me feel like the prize, I feel like he didn't value me and respect me. And not that he did anything totally horrible. Like, it wasn't like, but little things like this were the bare minimum. He wasn't even doing it. So in a sense, it was horrible. I was continuously, entertaining this guy, hanging out with him, and he wasn't even giving me the bare minimum. And that to me is it honestly makes me so frustrated now looking back, because I know the feeling that I was feeling around that moment, and it wasn't a good feeling. It was always an up and down roller coaster. It was never stable. It was just always like up and down. I never really felt safe. And I'm not even saying feeling safe physically. Emotionally, I never felt safe. Mentally, I never felt safe. That's like the number one thing I have now moving forward, is like, you need to make me feel safe. Like, you need to make my emotions feel safe. Not only do you need to understand and hear me and listen to me, but you need to comprehend. I remember telling him all the time, like, this is how I feel. This is, what I feel like you do wrong. And I feel like, I'm feeling this type of way. I didn't like the way. He would understand, and he would say, okay, I understand it, but nothing would change. I swear it was like talking to a brick wall. And I wasn't staying true to myself. And that was the number one thing I realized. I wasn't staying true to myself, because if I did, this would have never happened. I would have never let this slide. I would have had firm boundaries in place. So when you stop chasing approval, you reclaim your energy, you reclaim clarity. I was so blinded. And I'm telling you, now that I look back and this just ended, I feel free. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I feel like, this person him leaving was the best thing. Him not reciprocating the energy and not wanting to commit was the best thing for me. Number 3, you've already survived so much. Your lived experiences, your growth, your healing, your journeys are proof of your strength. Recognizing what you've already overcome is a part of remembering your power. Because you come so far, and because you have gone through these things and these situationships, these relationships, these friendships, whether it's in your personal life, your career life, your fitness life, because you've had these self-limiting beliefs, and now you've made it this far, you should 10 times more even recognize who the fuck you are. And I didn't realize that in the moment too. I've been through so much in my life, and for someone to, drain me like that mentally, and for me to let someone do that after everything I've been through, it was kind of just like an eye-opener. It was like, what? I am never gonna let someone do that. I'm never gonna let myself do that. I've been through so much. I've grown through so much. I evolved, and I know that I want to keep getting better. So how could I let someone hinder that? How can I let someone come into my life, hinder my growth, when I knew I had so much, going for me? And that was one thing. When we were on and off, and when I ended it with him the first time, it honestly was a roller coaster. Like, I had to honestly realize that not only was this person toxic, but I had toxic traits myself, because I kept going back. I loved kind of like the little cat and mouse game, as much as I don't like to admit that I did, because I guess it kind of kept it alive in the end. And I guess that's what it was doing. It kept that like spark and connection, that, pull and push force. But I had to realize that that wasn't okay. Like, I had to realize those were my toxic traits. And when we were going back and forth, and when I was, going back and forth with him and coming back and ending it and then going back, I felt like I lost a piece of myself every time, because there was a moment that I was doing so well and everything was falling into place and I was finally getting over him. And then he would come back and tell me he wants to talk to me. And I would maybe think, okay, this is the time he's going to tell me he wants to commit. This is the time he's going to tell me that he loves me and he, wants a future with me. And I'm telling you, every time he came back and I gave in, he literally would tell me the same thing over, that he doesn't want to commit. So technically he was coming back just to tell me that he wants to be friends and he doesn't want to commit. So now that would start my growth all over again. I was doing so well. I took 5 steps back, 5 steps forward, and now I'm taking 10 steps back, because now he literally kind of like, it was like a band-aid, like a wound. Like, I was healing the wound, but it really wasn't healed. It was just a band-aid. And he came off, ripped off the band-aid, and like the wound like had to restart the healing process. That was the one thing that I didn't like about it. I literally would be on this journey of healing, and he would come back, but that was my fault. I let him in when I knew that this person wasn't going to change, when I knew what he's already told me. I honestly always thought maybe he would come back and say something different, but it never was that. So what I realized is that when someone shows you their true colors with their actions, not just words, with their actions, you need to believe them. You need to run for the goddamn hills, and you need to be firm in your boundaries, because this person doesn't deserve you. They don't value, and they know as well that what they're doing, and they're aware of what they're doing. And when they see you keep coming back, they're like, okay, I could just keep doing this over and over again, and I'm still going to have my cake and eat it too. And I had to realize that in order to, remembering who the fuck you are, remembering how powerful you are, you need to set those boundaries, and you need to remove yourself, or have them be removed from your life, because it's just not good for you. Number 4, your thoughts create your own reality. The way you speak to yourself directly shapes your energy and your actions. Example, I am statements. I literally wake up always in the morning and I say I am statements. I am powerful. I am beautiful. I am loved. I am loving. Those statements really help get through the day, especially when you're feeling so down and out, especially when you're going through something, in the middle of your life. Again, whether it could be anything, it doesn't have to just be relationships. Whatever you're going through, like when you're feeling down and in the gutter, saying these affirmations in the morning is 100% a thing I advise people to do. And it's the way you speak to yourself. While I was going through this with this guy, he really made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And unfortunately, like the insecurities came to the surface, and I was really, sad. It would really just totally shift my mindset and trigger things in me, that to the point that I really didn't want to do anything all day, because what he was saying was getting to me. And this is the number one thing that I think I need to work on, is when you are going through things like that, no matter whose fault it is, no matter what's happening, you need to remember that although this is happening to me, and although this guy or this girl doesn't like me, or doesn't want me, or doesn't have interest in me, I am still beautiful. I am still lovable. I am still valuable. I am still amazing. And what he doesn't want, someone else is going to love and want in me. I think that was one of the biggest things that I really needed to work on. Talking to myself, no matter, despite what you're going through, telling myself that everything's going to be okay. I'm still beautiful. I'm still lovable. I'm intelligent. Anyone would be lucky to have me. And going through that, situationship, it really brought a lot of things to the surface. It really brought a lot of things that I knew I needed to work on, and I continue need to work on. So when I do go through another situationship, or I do, get into another relationship, or whatever is happening, that I'm prepared. No matter which way this goes, whether this works out or not, I'm still the same girl stepping into this, and I'm gonna be okay regardless what happens, because I was okay before I got into this, and I'm going to be okay when I leave this, with or without this person. And I think that is one of the biggest things I really confirmed, and that's one of the biggest things that I realized. That is the mentality I always need to have going into anything, because I am gonna be okay. And I am still the same person. And when you are so true to yourself and you're authentic to yourself, nothing can break that. So that was a really big thing for me. And number 5, moving on to number 5, stillness and silence will help you reconnect. So, when you're down and out and you just feel like you have lost yourself and you don't really know who you are, first of all, life is all about losing yourself and finding yourself again. I don't care what anyone says. I have lost myself, found myself again, lost myself, found myself again. Literally, Georgia Smith says that in one of her songs. Please listen to it. I have reconnected with myself. I have grown. I have evolved. I looked in the mirror one day. I didn't know who the hell I was. And then the next day I looked in the mirror and I was like, I know who the fuck I am. And that was one of the biggest things. So to do that, if you're feeling lost and you're feeling like you're going through something, you don't really know who you are, and you just like lost all sense of yourself, reconnecting and taking time away is a big thing. And that's what really got me through this whole, breakup. And also, even if it's not a relationship, you went through something. Your experience is very valid. We always talk about situationships and they're just like not a real relationship, but they really are. If you invested your time and energy and your feelings into someone, that matters. That definitely matters. You invested all of this, your feelings into it. You put your mind, soul, body into this, to work out. And when it didn't work out, and like when things became toxic or just, a totally different route, I just want you to know that that's valid. You have every right to feel the way you feel. I know when people sometimes it's not a real relationship, but it is a real relationship. Anything nowadays is a real relationship when you're especially with someone. So I don't, and especially when you're being intimate. So I don't care what anyone says, that's real. Your feelings are valid. You matter. And how you're going to heal from this matters as well, because it definitely was a relationship. No matter how much time it was, okay? I don't care if it was 6 months or 3 months or a year. It matters. That time matters. So if you need to take time to unplug, reset, find yourself again, do that. What really has helped me is meditation, journaling. I go to the gym. I love doing fitness classes. And my biggest thing is I run. I go to the park and I run. And that totally clears my head in so many ways. I remember one day, because of this guy, we were on and on. I think we like broke off a couple months ago. That was one of the times we broke it off. And I remember I was so sad, and he kind of just like ruined my whole day. I let him get to me to the point that he ruined my whole day. I remember going to the park, running like 3 miles. That was so good. Literally dopamine was releasing into my body. And I remember just sitting by the water, crying it out and just feeling everything. And it was so good. It was during sunset, and like to reward me, the universe rewarded me with this beautiful sunset. Like, and after I left there, I felt so good. Obviously, I was still sad. I mean, that doesn't go away completely, but this was something to cope with it. It made me feel better. I released all of that I had, the tension, and I was still sad, but I was able to work through those emotions and feel better about myself leaving there. So I wasn't so stuck on that and stuck feeling that negative energy. So that was really one of the things that I do to make myself feel better. But yeah, journaling, meditating, therapy is really good. Don't ever let anyone ever tell you that therapy is weird. Talking to someone is amazing, especially someone that you don't know, that doesn't know you. You don't feel judged. So that was one of the things too I do. It really just helps you clear out the noise and remember who you are and what you stand for. And it just makes you, like, it helps you find yourself again. So, and just finding hobbies to do, finding good coping mechanisms, anything other, than drinking. I mean, drinking, like, look, go have a drink. If you need to release some stress, go have a drink and have some fun. But don't make it a thing that you do it all the time, every day, because let me tell you, it is not the way. You're just suppressing things that you need to work through, and it doesn't help in the end. It actually makes it worse. Number 6, you don't need to earn worthiness. You are already worthy, valuable, amazing. You deserve all the respect you like put out. You deserve all the love you put out into this world. You were born valuable already. God made us worthy when we were born into this life. To be here on earth is such a blessing, and we need to feel that. We need to understand that you're not broken. You're just buried under layers of doubt, conditioning, and fear. Because of this happened, the situation, you were conditioned to feel like I'm not worthy enough. After this, how is he going to love me? Or after this, who's going to love me after this? I'm broken. No one's going to like me. No, that's not true. Screw that person that told you that. Or screw that person that not necessarily told you that, but made you feel that way. You are lovable. You are valuable. You deserve everything you put out into this world. You are a good person. You're amazing. And there's someone that is going to see that. There's someone that's not going to make you question that. There's someone that's not going to make you literally wonder, like, oh my God, am I good enough? Did I do this right? Did I do this wrong? Do they like me? There's going to be someone out there that you don't even have to question these things. You're going to wake up and they're literally going to be on your ass chasing you instead of you chasing them. The energy that you give out, you're going to be the most desirable person. But to be that, we have to work on ourselves and remembering who the fuck we are. To be the most desirable, you have to stand in your power. I realized going through this that I was not standing in my power. I was not desirable because I was chasing. I was lacking. You can't be in a state of lack. You cannot. I remember now going through this and finally that this is over. Every day I'm telling myself, I call my power back. I call my power back because I swear, I kid you not, and I'm not saying this, there is a spark inside of people. There's just something about a person, especially like, and I really feel that about myself, that I have this light. And there's something called energy vampires. And I kid you not, this person was sucking the energy out of me. Although he wasn't ready to commit, I really do truly feel that this person knows how amazing I am. And why I think that? Because we wouldn't have lasted this long They were literally sucking my energy dry. And after I left this situationship, this person was okay. And despite if he's not okay or is okay, but I think he's pretty fucking okay. I was not okay. I feel like I invested so much energy and time, and I feel like I was drained. I feel like I was losing that spark in me, and I feel like he took that. And that's really what happens when you're talking to someone or you are, bonded to someone that is an energy sucker, is an energy vampire. I feel like this person literally knew how amazing I was and what I have to offer, that they were literally sucking that. And he could never be that. He literally told me he cannot reciprocate the love because of the phase in his life, which honestly, I think that's bullshit. But I just think he just didn't want to do it, or he just knows that he can't do it. And whatever the case was, he knew that he couldn't do it and he was aware of that, but he kept leading me on. And also, it was my fault because I kept coming back. But I just know in the end, he knew what type of person I was. So that's the number one thing I realized going into my next relationship. I need to know when enough is enough, and I need to back away. No matter how good the connection is, no matter what it is, no matter how much you know this person, no matter what they've done for you in the past 6 months, it's not enough if they're literally draining you mentally and emotionally. It's not enough. And lastly, let's go on to number 7. Your power serves a purpose. When you fully step into who you are, you naturally impact others. Your light gives others permission to shine too. I can literally say that my friends think so highly of me. They have so many good things to say about me. My birthday just passed, and to feel the love that came from my friends and my family, and literally even on Instagram, people messaging me, DMing, saying happy birthday, and just writing these beautiful messages. It's like I was so distracted by this one guy. First of all, he didn't even say happy birthday to me. He knew it was my birthday. He knew how special it was. He didn't even say happy birthday to me. And I was so distracted about not getting his approval and for him not noticing me, when I literally had this room full of people that actually love me, respect me, value me, want the best for me, want to support me in everything that I do. And even when I make the wrong decisions, they're still there to pick me up. This guy couldn't even be good to me on my fucking best day. So it's like, it really made me realize to really appreciate my life and the people I have in my life, and to understand that I am looking for this person's approval, but this person doesn't even do anything with me. I have people that actually love me and care for me and want to see me shine and want to see me be myself and want to see me stand in my power and want to see me actually be my authentic self and love me for it and will never try to change me. And I think this guy was trying to do those little things, and I thought maybe molding myself, I would get him to like me. But you have to understand that nothing you do is going to get this person to like you. Nothing you do is going to get them to respect you, value you. You can do nothing. I think we often try to change ourselves, and we often try to, do these things to get this attention or attraction from someone. But in the end, it has nothing to do with you. The reason that this person doesn't like you, value, respect you, doesn't want the best for you, doesn't want to talk to you, doesn't want to communicate with you, doesn't want to, has nothing to do with you. It's them. And you know what? You need to let them be. We all need to just let them be on the side. Because let me tell you, I'm a firm believer in this. Everyone always comes back. And I'm not necessarily saying that to take them back, but they always come back. This is the whole point of this podcast. And I want you guys to know, if you are going through a situation like this right now in your life, or, you did go through a situation and you're now in this healing phase, please understand that you're not alone. We're not alone. This episode is just for you to understand and comprehend and realize when someone comes along that acts this way, that you need to run. And this is why I share my experience, because I don't want anyone to ever go through what I went through. I want people to learn from my mistakes, and I want them to differentiate what type of person is a good person and what type of person is a bad person. And unfortunately, it's sad to say that. People have bad qualities, and I don't think everyone, I hate calling people bad people, but I'm sorry. If you are aware of what you're doing and you're continuing to do it, you're a bad person to me, and you need to work on yourself. You need to work on those things. And, you're a bad person because of your experiences that you've been through, or your trauma when you were younger, or what happened to you. And you know what? I'm sorry, but you can't just go around hurting people. I understand hurt people, but this is why you need to work on yourself. You need to stand in your power. You need to remember who you are. You need to make sure you go back to the drawing board. What do you stand for? What are your goals? What are your values? And you need to remember that. You need to stand firm in that. So when a person like this comes along that's trying to change all of this with their fucked up morals and values that that don't align with yours, you need to realize, okay, this is not the type of person I want. I need to run away from them. And you also need to realize that you can't change this person. Nothing you do is going to change this person. All you can do is focus on you, stand in your purpose, and find your purpose and continue life, striving for that and being true to yourself. And that's really just one thing I really wanted to get across on this podcast and this episode. And I hope my episodes really do help you guys. I hope you know that you're not alone. Feel free to comment. I would love to hear your stories, your experiences. Every day is a process. Our life is a journey, and every day you have a chance to get better. We should just be blessed that we have another day to start over. Every day you can start over. Don't ever feel like, your life is over. This is never going to happen. Don't ever let someone make you feel that way. You are beautiful. You are amazing. You are bold. You are thriving, and you are surviving. And that's what life is all about. And continue doing what you're doing and keep going and keep pushing, because there are others around you that are looking at you and they're admiring you, and you're an inspiration to them. So please keep going. Remember who you are. Your light shines bright. And thank you guys so much for watching episode 2. This is Boldly Thriving. Stay tuned for next week's episode, Tuesday at 9 p.m. Bye, guys.